Democratic Services Committee, which is open to the press and public. We welcome the use of Welsh language at meetings, and I've had no requests for people to speak Welsh today, so the meeting will be conducted entirely in English only. Please can members use the raised hand icon to indicate if they want to speak, and remember to keep your microphones muted when not talking, sorry. And we'll move into the agenda. And item number 1, Dominic, do we have any apologies?
I've had no apologies, Chair.
No apologies, thank you. Members, does anyone have any interest to declare? None at all? No. Okay then, on to item number 3. Minutes of Democratic Services Committee from October the 6th, 2022. Members, could you possibly state whether you have anything to raise in relation to the minutes? If not, I will take them as approved. No? Thank you. Agenda item 4 then. Members, the updates on what has been done and implemented committees' previous decisions are on page 9 of the agenda. Could you possibly indicate whether you have any questions or comments at all on that? None at all. Well done.
Chair, they're all completed, I think.
Yeah. Councillor Haynes, go hand up.
Yeah, just wondering, we are talking about the Independent Remuneration Panel for Wales's recommendations. Do we not have some sort of, all of us have some sort of interest to declare on that? Just mindful.
That's coming up.
Chair, can I come in at this stage? Thank you. My advice would be that you don't, because you haven't, as far as I'm concerned, none of our members sit on the panel. It's not something that you can influence. It's a report stating what's going to happen. And the recommendation, I believe, will be to note, yes, both of the recommendations are to note. So unless I'm told otherwise, my advice would be that you don't have any declarations to make.
Thank you, Justine. Yes, when it comes up, it is only to be noted. It's no debate over it at all. And thanks for the question, Councillor Haynes. Members, do you agree on the update and actions to be noted? Colette? All hands up? Yep. All in agreement? Not a hand up, yeah. All doing very well today, aren't you? Agenda item 5 then. Members' induction of 2022 feedback. And I'll ask Nancy to go through this agenda item.
Thank you, Chair. Afternoon, members. This is a short report regarding the member induction survey that was recently completed and feedback from that survey. So at our 6th of October Democratic Services Committee meeting, we approved the evaluation questions for the questionnaire for induction. The consultation was online and opened on the 17th of October and it ran to the 14th of November. 13 out of the 40 members completed the consultation. It's a shame, really. It would have been nice if it could have been higher to give us a better position of what members are thinking about how the induction process was handled and the benefits of it. Nevertheless, that's where we are. And 13 out of the 40 members completed it. And so we've just picked out some of the points here for you. So 8 of the members, which is 66%, 66.7%, stated that they were happy or very happy with the induction training. 58% were happy with the overall content of the induction programme. Members were also asked any areas where they required further training, and the topics are listed below. All of these topics are covered in the online training modules. So I want to take the opportunity today to signpost that to members of the committee, but also we will be sending an email out to all members, reminding them that there are modules that they can work through on each of these topics. The modules there, they can be worked through in their entirety or used almost as a reference point for some information that members might want about a specific topic. It's a shame really, because those modules were worked on in conjunction with other local authorities and the WLGA, but they were a little bit late coming to us. We didn't have them in time for May from the WLGA. They weren't issued to us till June or July, so I just want to make sure that all members are aware that we've got them. I've had to look at them and work through some of the modules, as has some of my team, and they are informative, they are useful. So it is important that we signpost you all to those. Bespoke training is offered to exec members and members of the regulatory committees as appropriate, so that's not for all members. We have got planning for non-planning committee members, but other than that, they're specific to the disciplines. Another thing we wanted to mention was the Members Hub is Swoop, where we put all the training that was offered during the slides for all the presentations and training that were offered during induction are saved on Swoop. So again, if people wanted to refresh anything, they could look on there. Out of our members that were surveyed, 3 members said they found the Members Hub very helpful. And again, this is just something I wanted to reiterate to members, that all the information is on there. Really, what I wanted to ask of members today is to offer any views to us of ongoing training needs or anything they think that we could do to improve training and provide so that members feel that they are supported and can complete their roles adequately, or more than adequately really, that we are supporting you. So I'll offer it open to members really to see if you've got any comments, anything anyone would like to ask or add.
Thank you, Nancy. I think Giles was first.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. As Nancy said, only 13 out of 40 councillors responded, which was disappointing. She said, well, I looked at it the other way. I didn't respond, but I was extremely happy. Perhaps I should have, and I'm really grateful to the Democratic team for all the training they put on. I'm very happy with it. So all I can suggest is the councillors who didn't respond was extremely happy too, because if I wasn't happy with something, I can guarantee I'd be straight in, seeing you or filming a survey, as I often do with my gym and different things, if I'm not happy. So all I can say is thank you for all your work, you and the team, and I think you've done a wonderful job. I was very happy with the training and the help I'm still getting whenever I ask for it. I don't ask very often, but if I am stuck, somebody's always there to assist me. So all I can say is well done to the team, and don't be downhearted because only 13 bothered applying. As I said, the rest must have been extremely happy, like myself, for not replying. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Giles. And I'll agree with that wholeheartedly, because I didn't fill it in either, because I've always been happy with the team. And of course, the induction is for new members as well. I think a lot of us have been there a long time, and I think we take it for granted sometimes, but we always know this team is always here for every one of us every day. So just ring up, and then everything's just put on a plate for us, and I thank them as well. Rose, you were next.
Thank you, Chair. There was one thing that had come to my attention since I'd filled the questionnaire in, and that's the training on corporate parenting. I think there's a need for all members to have a refresher on corporate parenting because of the role that they actually lead with our looked after children. So whether that can be added or not, I don't know, or whether or not it's included. With regard to the Members Hub and Swoop, I think perhaps the signposting, perhaps we need another session on training on how to use it. I must admit, I'm not a frequent user of Swoop. I tend to go to where I need the information from rather than a Members Hub. So perhaps a training session on the Members Hub, so to review what it's all about and how members can use it might be a good idea. With with the actual induction, I think there's so much information given over a short period of time that it's very difficult to retain it all or actually get to all the training sessions. So perhaps a refresher over the years, over the 5-year period, may well help. And I picked up before about by-elections. Sometimes new members coming in on a by-election miss out on all the training and they just pick it up as they go along. I think that's my point. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Rose. Yeah, I'd like to agree with Rose there. There's been so many new members this last election as well, and it is daunting for most of them, thinking what they let themselves in for. But when some of us have been here for, as we know, many years, and we're all still learning every day. And I would always put out to any new members that the older members are always there for advice as well. They haven't got to sit back and think, what am I going to do? They can just pick up the phone up and ring any councillor for their advice as well. So we could be trainers as well with all our experience. Jane, were you next? Did you have your hand up, Jane?
I did, yes, but I was just really going to say what Giles said about the number responding being quite low. But then he answered the sort of the bit I was going to ask, because maybe a lot of people were so happy with the service they didn't feel that they needed to respond to it.
Thank you. Yeah, very often you put your hand up for something and somebody just before you answer does it for you. Yeah. Colette. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Just to say, I echo the comments that have been made already. I mean, I didn't fill in the survey because obviously I thought it was mainly sort of targeted towards new members, but I'm not unhappy with the service I get from the team. There is just one point I'd like to make. Looking at the respondents there, I see 30.8% have said that they would like more training or development on personal security, including ward work, and also on local government finance. And I think this comment was raised yesterday in the finance meeting about maybe glossary of terms for members to understand some of the abbreviations, some of the terms we use. So just 2 points I'd like to raise, but I'm perfectly happy with the service I have from the team as well. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Colette. Yes, I'd like to pick up something there. You say more training on your ward work, as you say. I mean, there's some members here, as we well know. Again, I keep saying the ones who've been here quite many years, and train all councillors on local protocol, how to work in your ward and not interfere in other wards as well. And we know that's been happening for a couple of years, so I think some training should be on that and explain to councillors where their boundaries start, where their boundaries finish, and with what boundaries they don't cross. So that could be, I'm sure, something could be put in the training, as Colette said, on the wards. But thank you for that question, Colette. Anybody else got a question? No?
Can I just say, Chair, sorry.
Colette.
Sorry, can I just say, I was mainly targeting actually personal security, you know, and any risk assessments and things like that for the wards as well. Members in their ward, and obviously if they hold surgeries.
I'll come back in there if I can. I've made a note of all the things that members have mentioned there, the corporate parenting, how to use swoop, local protocol, by-elections that we've actually been working on. As you know, we've got a by-election next week and we have been putting together an induction for that, for the candidates there. Glossary of terms for finance. We used to have one. I remember it many years ago, so I'll look into that because we used to have one. I think we can update it maybe, but I'm sure we can sort that out. And the security and ward work, I'll certainly speak to our community safety team and see what we can arrange. Maybe in the form of a member seminar or a training session for members. It's been raised by a couple of members, and I think that would be a good one. There is one of the online module. It is covered in the online training modules, and there is some useful information in there. So I would refer you to have a look at that. But if it's something you'd like some training in person, I can certainly arrange that for you, look to arrange that. So thank you for your comments. They've been helpful, useful for us. And thank you for the lovely comments. The nice feedback is always lovely for the team as well.
Thank you, Nancy. I can see Liz Haynes got her hand up. Liz?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'm pretty sure I filled it in. And there's one or two comments that you've made that I think I've logged, but security in ward is particularly home visit stuff is a big issue at the moment, especially with things that have gone on in recent years. The other thing is, ideally, some really effective use of some electronic equipment that sort of works. I've had a tablet for 7 months now and it still doesn't work.
Thank you for that, Liz. I think a lot of us agree with that about the tablets. I mean, they're in and out, but that's the IT to sort out. So if you can put that down for us, Nancy, please. Thank you.
I will do, certainly. I hope it was helpful, the IT members being in the members' room before and after council. I hope that was helpful.
Unfortunately, Nancy, they didn't do tablets. They weren't there to do the tablets, so nobody had their tablets fixed. It was telephone and laptop only yesterday, or Tuesday.
All right, okay, we'll look into that. It's something we're going to try and organise for every council going forward, if we can. That one of the IT team will be in the members' room for general inquiries, but we'll certainly look into getting some help for the tablets.
Much appreciated, thank you.
Okay, members then. Recommendations on page 12. The members agree with recommendations. Anyone against?
Yep.
Any abstentions? So that's unanimous. Thank you very much. Item number 6 then, member survey. Hand over to Nancy for this one.
Me again, I'm afraid. So this report is about the upcoming survey for all members. We're asking you to consider the questions and agree that the survey can be circulated to all members for completion. The survey is an important tool for us as the team to help us improve and plan for the year ahead and improve the service we provide for you and to ensure that your needs are met. So this survey is an important one for you to complete if you can. The questions that we've got are set out in Appendix 1. It'll be online again, so they're usually quite quick to complete, and they will be in 2 parts, where the second part is for completion by overview and scrutiny committee members only, so other than the cabinet, that's everyone else. Really, I'd just like you to have a look at the questions if you haven't already done, and just give us some feedback on if you think there's anything we've missed, anything we can change or tweak in any way.
Jane, you've got your hand up.
I have, yes. So I've got. So I've looked through the appendix and read the questions that you want to go on the survey. I've just got 2 questions about it. So the first question is on page 18. It says, "Do you feel adequately equipped to undertake your role as a councillor?" And then later on page 20, it says, "Overall, how well equipped do you feel to carry out your role as a member?" Are they, because they sound like very similar questions to me, are they different questions? So will there be any sort of explanation as to what you're trying to get from the questions? And then the other question that I had was on page 19. It says, "Would you like to complete an annual report? And also, would you like to undertake a personal development review?" So I guess it's the same thing for that. Will there be any sort of explanation as to what they are, or do people generally know what they are? Because I'm not sure that I do.
Right, okay. I'll take the questions about equipment first. Section 2 on page 18, the question, "Do you feel adequately equipped to undertake your role as a councillor?" is regarding your actual equipment. And that's how we mean it, with your tablet and your laptop and your phone. So that's a reference to equipment, because the question above that as well is, are you satisfied with your council-provided equipment? So that question is talking about your actual equipment. The question further on is how you feel your training needs are met and how you feel equipped personally to deal with it, if we're supporting you in other ways. But the first question on page 18 is about equipment, actual equipment.
Okay, all right. So clearly, reading through it, I did wonder if that was the case, but I didn't get that when I read through, because it obviously used the same word, equipped, both times. So, I mean, whether other people understood that or whether that needs to be looked at.
Okay, well, we could probably change that. We've got, the heading is equipment, but we could change that to make it more clear. If you think that would help, I'm happy to do that.
Okay, yeah, I think it would.
Sorry, could you just ask me a second question again?
On page 19, there are two questions. It says, would you like to complete an annual report? And would you like to undertake a personal development review? I think the personal development review, we could probably assume what it meant, but I didn't know particularly what they were. So I don't know if other people know what they are, or if they're just going to say yes to an annual review and then find out what it is.
Right, okay. No, I take your point. An annual report is something that members are able to publish online if they want to, about what they've done in the year that we've had, any successes they've had in their ward, any changes they've made, any say conferences or meetings they've attended extra to their regular council meetings, and it's really for their constituents to be aware of what they've done during the year. Earlier in council life, say 5 or 10 years ago, every member always completed every year an annual report. They were mandatory. They're not anymore. They're optional. So we have got a template for the annual report, and if members want to complete one, we will help them. We'll provide the template, and we can set aside some officer time to help them complete them. So that question is asking members if they value an annual report, if they'd like to do one or not. The second part then would give the opportunity to undertake a personal development review. That's a conversation to review at the end of the year how they've coped, how they've managed, if there's any training needs. But they're just personal, rather than a generic survey. This is one-on-one to each member. I think perhaps the mistake we've made this year is forgetting that it's a new term of office, and other members see this every year, and we haven't explained it clearly enough. So I'm happy to tweak that question to give some more information about what PDRs are and annual reports. So we'll make sure that we do that before it is circulated.
Okay, thank you.
Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
Good.
Thank you, Jane. Giles, next.
I was going to say, normally when you do a survey, it often repeats the questions in different ways, just to double check on your answers. That's the types I've done in the past for like leadership training, all in work. It always keeps repeating itself, but asks in different ways. So that's why I wondered whether we was doing in this survey. And also for the annual report, I used to do an annual report. I didn't realise that it stopped being like compulsory. I just stopped doing it a couple of years ago because I just thought, well, there's very few was doing it. And I thought if people don't know what you've done throughout the year in your ward via social media or seeing you out and about, it seems a bit pointless trying to write everything down at the end of the year to say this is what I've done. Normally, if you're out and about, like so I think all of us are, people know who you are and what you're up to anyway. So yeah, I just want to bring those points up, that's all. I hadn't realised it wasn't compulsory anymore. I just stopped doing it because loads of others stopped doing it a couple of years ago. But I don't really see any point in it now with the way everybody's using social media, unless somebody's not using social media and they want to do it that way. We do newsletters, we attend things now, awards. The public know who we are, or should do, especially if we've been there for many years. That's my thoughts on it anyway. Perhaps I'm wrong, but that's my view. Okay.
No, I think you probably are right, that it has changed, things have moved on a pace, not just during COVID, but the way that business is conducted much more online and more instantly. But if members did want to complete one, then we're happy to help. So really it's just a question to ask if any member does want to do an annual report. We would support them in that. Okay.
Thank you, Giles. Rose, you next.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a question on the annual report. Obviously, we haven't done one recently, and I just wondered how we would publicise those annual reports and what the reaction would be if only a couple of elected members publicised and others didn't.
Well, we used to load them. They used to be on the website. You could access them on the Torfaen website. Previous ones have been removed now because they were from other terms of office. So if members wanted to, again, they could, and we would again publish them on the website. I don't know what public perception would be if only some members chose to do them. But the option is there if you wanted to.
I suppose my question is, who is it benefiting? Is it benefiting the public? Is it benefiting our officers or the elected member? And, you know, if it's not benefiting anybody, it's pointless doing it.
Thank you for that, Rose. As you just said, Rose, is it any benefit to anyone? How many people would actually look at it or think of looking to where to find it? I mean, we used to do them some years ago, as you know, and I don't think anybody ever used to look at them. But again, it's up to an individual. Okay, thanks for those questions. Okay. Recommendations on page 12. Nope. Go back. Which ones are we on now? Page 16. The members, you agree with recommendation? Anybody against? Any abstaining? No. Okay, thank you very much. Item number 7 then, Diversity and Democracy and Draft Action Plan. Nancy, it's your turn again. Oh, Tom, sorry, is it? Oh, there, sorry, Tom. Don't want to do it again.
No problem. It must be a problem with your briefing note again, Councillor.
Leave Tom alone.
Good afternoon, members. I hope everyone can hear me okay, unlike yesterday. Is it okay? Brilliant. The report is to share with the committee members Torfaen's Diversity and Democracy Draft Action Plan before submission to Council. Council has unanimously agreed to commit to becoming a diverse council, and in doing so agreed to provide a clear public commitment to improve diversity, demonstrate an open and welcoming culture to all, consider practical ways to support councillors with other commitments, and set out an action plan of activity to be adopted by full council. Officers have been developing the action plan, a draft of which Democratic Services Committee considered in October 2022, and which has been updated, taking into account members' comments and suggestions, and this is set out in full in Appendix 1. The action plan aims to address barriers and perceptions that may discourage members of the public engaging in the democratic process, and in particular putting themselves forward to become a local councillor. The action plan therefore seeks to ensure we are a more diverse democracy, with candidates and elected members who are reflective and understanding of their communities, supporting better engagement with individuals and communities, and enhancing trust in the local democratic process. Finally, the action plan represents the first iteration of this plan, and this will evolve over time, with new activity being included following each review. There will be plenty of opportunity, therefore, in the future to review and suggest further work that needs to be undertaken. Before referring you to the recommendations, I'll be happy to take any questions. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Tom. Any questions, members? No? No? Sorry, Tom, no questions to you, Make it easy for you.
Just quickly, I mean, obviously in the action plan, there's a huge amount of activity that's already been undertaken, particularly through the democracy team, and particularly around, you know, accessibility and the ability for members to access meetings from here, there, and everywhere. So, you know, there's plenty in there, and you know, the door is always open, as I said, to add more information into the action plan. But yeah, we will take it forward to council now.
Thank you for that report, Tom.
Just one comment, Chair.
Yes, go.
I just wondered on the young people's civic training, on how we promote voting and elections as far as our young people. It says on the school councils, but we don't really get feedback from school councils. It goes to the governing body or the head teacher or the team that deals with school councils. I just wondered how we get that feedback that's actually happening.
I will look into that for you, Councillor. I know we've, as the action plan sets out, we've recently appointed an engagement officer within the elections team who's doing a lot of work with young people. But as far as that specific query is concerned, I'll look into that for you. I mean, it may be something that you can sort of look at through your, being the chair of the scrutiny committee.
I have asked the question on feedback and how we feed both ways, up and down, with young people, and we don't seem to be getting any nearer to actually having that information. Thanks.
Thank you, Rose. Giles, you next.
Thanks, Chair. I was just going to say, as a working councillor, hopefully finishing this year, but as a working councillor, I find since COVID came along, the council really leapt forward and helping working councillors and other councillors who find it hard to get around to access meetings via Teams. So, I just think it's been a brilliant leap forward, because like now I've got a meeting straight after this. Normally I'd have to go to the Civic, leave early to attend another meeting. We're now on Teams. It's just a matter of pressing a button. I'm in another meeting, instantly. So, yeah, I think we've really leapt forward as a council, and the whole world has leapt forward in the last 2 or 3 years since COVID. So, yeah, it's just going to say it's a lot easier now as a working councillor to access meetings. So, yeah, it's good.
Thank you, Giles. Norma, you next.
Thank you, Chairman. The point that Rose just brought up about children, I know community councils, they have councils for young people. I know Pontypool Community Council, for many years had one. And perhaps you'd like to get in touch with the community councils and see how they organise their young people's community councils, if you know what I mean. They are very successful, but as years have gone by, I think it's been harder to get those children to participate in these councils for youngsters. But when they do, I find that they are very good at it. So perhaps you'd like to contact the community councils who do this.
Thank you, Norma. Colette?
Just looking through the agenda there, I can't really see very much on there about helping councillors or candidates with disabilities, visual impairment or mobility issues. I wondered whether we should be making a little bit more of that.
I mean, it's certainly something we can explore, Councillor Thomas. Was there anything you had in mind? I would have to speak to the elections team to understand fully what it is we already do. But
well, just to say that there shouldn't be any barriers to somebody applying to be a councillor. I mean, if you're visually impaired or if you've got a mobility problem or a speech problem, we should be able to support people to engage to be a councillor or to be a member.
Yeah, okay. I wouldn't like to say we don't do it. I'd have to speak to the election team. The support they get given during the the candidate process, and then obviously any elected once elected, we do our best to provide tailored support to any member concerns and issues that stuff that we've already discussed in this meeting. The democracy team is very open to providing all kinds of support as and when required. So I will look into that for you, Councillor Thomas.
I can't see it as one of the objectives, really. That's why I wondered.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, members, for those questions.
Thank you.
The recommendations are on page 28. Are members all in agreement with the recommendations? Okay. Anybody against? Any abstentions? Thank you. That's carried. Thank you. And thank you for that report.
Yes, back to me. Yeah, it is. This report is regarding the Independent Remuneration Panel's draft report. The final report will be due end of February, March of this year, this new year. They've only made six determinations this year, and we've listed those in the report. The other thing they had asked for is they sent a small survey. It's that survey word again. They'd sent a small survey, and the deadline for the survey was December. However, we've spoken to them, and if any of you have any comments, they would be happy to accept them after that date. So don't feel that because we've missed the deadline for the survey, you can't comment if you would like to. The IRP were appointed in January 2008 by Welsh Government. They're a permanent body and they're independent from other organisations. And one of the main things that they're known for is members' remuneration, actually, members' salaries. And that is their first determination for the year ahead. The basic level of salary for an elected member of principal councils, which are the 22 in Wales, is to be set at £17,600 from 1st of April this year. The second determination is regarding the salary of the leader of all councils, and they're working on Group A. Group A salary is 66,000, where our leader is Group C, along with Blaenau Gwent, Ceredigion, Denbighshire, Merthyr Tydfil, Monmouthshire and the Isle of Anglesey, and that is based on population. That's why we're a Group C council. Determination 3, this is the Joint Overview and Scrutiny Committee. So this is not our scrutiny committees, these are the joint ones, like the city deal, for example, or the PSB scrutiny, the joint or the regional scrutinies. And our councils are not necessarily the chairs of those, but the IRP is a broader organisation and sets the rates for all of these things. So that is their third determination. Sorry, I shouldn't say recommendation because they're actually determinations, and the difference is we can't vote to accept or reject them, but they're actually telling us what they're going to be. That's why the report is to note rather than accept, because we have no power to change them. Determination 4 is regarding town and community councils, so it's not for us as a borough council, and it's just they're going to pay £156 a year towards household expenses. I think this is because the town and community councils don't receive a salary, and so that's just to help them towards their running costs. Determination 5 is National Park and Fire and Rescue Authorities payments. And determination 6 is a funny determination. It says all other determinations set out in the 2022-2023 annual report remain valid. So it's a different, they've got a new chair, the IRP, this year, and it's a different format. They've just literally listed the changes this year rather than all of their determinations, which is why it looks slightly different. That's all really I've got to say, unless there are any questions. What we're asking you to do is to note the content and note that you've all received a copy of the draft and the consultation questions. Then you were invited to comment on the draft ahead of the consultation closing on the 1st of December. And as I've said, if anyone has got any questions or any comments, if you let me have them, I can email them on. They're happy to accept them until the end of February, so there's plenty of time to comment if you did want to say anything.
Any comments or questions from any of the members? No.
Yes, please, Ron, if you don't mind.
Right, carry on. Yes.
My view is slightly altered to previous years because of the the cost of living crisis, etc., that's happening, and that happens for councillors too, particularly those who are not working. So I'm mindful that I'm going to abstain from this vote. Generally, I'd vote against it, but I'm going to abstain because I do think that we've got a number of councillors that are it's their job, and therefore it's not a massive income when you compare it to other jobs. And even though backbench councillors are determined as being part-time, I don't know a councillor that is part-time, in all honesty. So I will abstain, but I just wanted to explain my reasons for that.
Okay, thank you for that, Liz. Okay, members that are in agreement for this? Okay. Anybody against? And then any abstentions, Liz? Just Liz abstaining? That's fine. Okay. Thank you, members.
Thank you very much.
Okay, agenda item 7. Then date and time of the next meeting, which is Thursday, June the 8th at 10 a.m. And can I just finish off by saying, by the time we come to that meeting, we'll be losing one of our officers by then, and that'll be Nancy. She'll be retiring in March, Nancy, is it?
Yes, 22nd of March is my last working day.
And I'm sure, on behalf of myself, the Chair, and all the members, thanks, Nancy, for all the hard work you've always put in, and always will continue until the day you finish, I know. And thank you very much for what you've done for us, and the support given to all members with the Democratic Services team. Thank you. Okay, members, thank you for your attention.
Thanks, Ron. Thank you.
And see you soon.
Thank you.